A little pause before the sound starts. Yeah, it's Graham slacking off. He's meant to have that sort of prepared in advance, but you cannot get the staff. Someone did ask me the other day, someone who watches the live streams, are we ever going to see Graham? They said. So clearly they've noticed you exist, which is,
Someone has.
Yeah, unexpected. So, and it got me thinking. The first thing that popped into my head was, of course not. I'm not going to show you Graham. You have to imagine him. And then imagine he's a bit better looking. And then you can create an image in your head which the real Graham could never live up to. A bit like when you saw someone who was an actor in The Archers or something in the Radio Times, and you go, no, they don't look like that at all.
Yes. I thought exactly the same thing with Ken Bruce.
Right,
from Radio 2.
Yes,
He doesn't look like he sounds, or he doesn't sound like he looks.
Yeah.
Which way would you put that?
Exactly. Yes. But yeah, that works. Don't be confused for a moment. I'm not going to do an upside down picture of a bit of the Abbey. I'm going to paint over this. It was a fun little sketch, but fun's over. Time to reuse this canvas. It has got a bit of paint texture on it. I guess we'll see how that plays up. But it means I want to do quite a heavily textured painting here. And I have an interesting selection of eggs. So I'm going to just crack on with this. No, you didn't pick up on that one.
No, I did. I was,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a warning about egg puns. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. No way around it. So it's going to be a bit of a grown-up dad joke fest today, but
which everybody's gonna absolutely love. This will be the one that people tune in for.
Yeah, everyone loves a groaning. Now, already I'm.
Don't you go scrambling my.
Oh, that's just desperate. You can't think of the word first and then try and turn it into a pun. It's never gonna work. They keep creating a line. These two keep creating a line that points in one way or another to that mug. So I'm going to have to switch them over. Now they're in this kind of semicircle. I don't want that either. So I'm going to bring some things forward. Thinking the faces in green. Now the overlap isn't working because only they're the same. So gap there. And can I pick up the camera and show you what I'm seeing first?
No, because I've just sorted the camera out.
Okay, I'll leave it alone.
We'll do that at the end.
And now these are all in a nice neat semicircle, but I do want a gap between this egg and there, so I'm seeing that space. Now I'm viewing this slightly from the left of where you are, viewing through the camera. There's also eggs point. They point in a direction. So these two are splaying out now like a ballerina in a plie, is it?
Yes.
You did ballet in prison, didn't you?
Yep.
So that, yeah.
As did Big Dave. It's amazing how twinkle toes he is.
That's good. I quite like that. But I've still got, so it's making shapes. So there's a shape that goes around like that. And there's a shape that goes sort of going to go up here like this, and then where's that going to put the mug? Somewhere around there. There's a diagonal that leads across. So where's it finish up? Somewhere up here. So something like that.
So why the eggs then, James?
I don't know. It just feels like maybe there's a sense of a new world emerging. A chaotic world, a world of dramatic change and to a certain degree conflict. And the idea that it's been sort of gestating in some way. All these things do, all large changes have this sort of precondition where, you know, the Renaissance wasn't this sudden thing that someone just came up with one day. It was conditioned for long in advance by the increase in commerce and you know, improvements in how people built ships to allow that commerce to happen, and communications, and yeah, so many contributing factors that you could say that all these sort of conditions were made, and they all came together in this one thing. And then that one thing, you know, all the ingredients are all there, contained in this sort of shell. And then that shell breaks, and it's set free. And there's a sense of that moment.
You missed out on the fact that you were talking about shells and making something break free. So yeah. Very good.
Thanks. Also, yeah, it's mostly going to be accidental. I should point out. I just moved the canvas, didn't I?
No, that's all right. There's 5 centimeters worth of wiggle.
Also, they're a good shape, and I think they are a much is made of things like the Platonic solids, you know, these primal shapes that fit in with some heavenly geometry that is you know, supposedly worthy of note in some way or another. You know, that this sort of hidden language of the universe revealed to us through mathematics and predictable order. But the egg seems to be like an honorary member of the, you know, if they're a 6th Platonic solid, I think it would be an egg. Because there's something primal about it. There's something about the language of nature that's contained within it. And there are what we might think of as organic shapes that recur, that we see as self-similarity in different things. And so you can paint a tree or a plant, and then you can, you know, that pattern could also be a pattern that's within the leaf of the plant, that's within, you know, the way a river spreads out as it carves its way through the land over tens of thousands of years. This sort of visual language appears, and sometimes it's more primal, and the egg like a whirlwind of this primal thing. It's a basic element of nature, and it gets squashed together. So it goes all the way back to the first cell. So I'm going to look for some negative shapes here, and I'm going to sketch them.
I think that, like, the egg has such a recognizable form and structure to it. It's got a slightly pointier end than a round end.
Yeah.
When you're going to be painting it and putting it on the canvas, get those bits right, and your brain will, I guess, automatically tell you it's an egg.
I think that's the other thing is, like a mathematically perfect solid or whatever, we just sort of know it, so just the same as you can look at a square or a circle and tell if it's off without having some kind of intellectual process you go through, going, well, I've measured this and this, and I've come to the conclusion that this square is wonky. You just know straight away. Your brain knows.
Mm-hmm.
Some part of you knows before you know. Before the conscious part of you gets involved with all its clever ideas about what it thinks it knows. First of all, there's some instinctive suspicion that something's off.
Mm-hmm.
And you see this with all sorts of natural forms. If something's too regular, there's
mathematicians are able to do it as well, aren't they? When they look at a whole list of like numbers and just tell you whether the sums at the bottom is right or wrong.
I don't quite know what you mean by that. Mathematicians tend to be really poor at arithmetic, by the way.
It's, as an accountant, of something that my dad was able to do is look at a whole stream of numbers that were on a piece of paper, and then the sum at the bottom would be wrong, and it'd just be like, oh, not right.
Yes,
do it again.
He's built up an instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
and seeing patterns, I guess, and pairing numbers.
That's a bookkeeper. Bookkeeper and a mathematician. As most mathematicians would tell you. Okay, a few negative spaces already. Sort of, I'm kind of feeling this. I think we're on the way there. The red stripes are getting away, so I might move everything across a little bit. Would be interesting, wouldn't it?
What do you mean by getting in the way?
Actually, that's a good point. What do I mean? I think I used the wrong words. They're not getting into the picture. The eggs are getting in the way. Those two eggs are too far over.
I see, okay.
They're unbalancing things. I've made this egg much further away from the edge of the mug. And what I might do... Still not too late to make some changes. Yeah, that's more agreeing with what I've drawn, which I think I prefer. Is that back?
Yep.
Okay, so we are going to have the front of this detail somewhere around there. Okay, just bring it in. Maybe it was okay where it was before. Okay, being really vague about this at the moment. I'm just going to do some dark shapes now. I mean, hopefully we can already sort of see it appearing in a weird way. Washing my brush too much. Got this blue light coming from the other side as well. Kept this from before, but I don't think I'm going to need it now. Get rid of that. Do a bit of space on the palette. Same with this lot, this might disappear as well. that's too light. Be good now for doing that. I will still be able to use it. Pretty good. Remember why I just made that. Oh yeah, it's my dark colours. I'm going to use that to darken
it's
an
like
orange.
Making colours.
I'm going to make an orange. I went yellow first then. Be making this, I think. Brightest orange I can make. And mix some of that. A little bit of mixing white. A little bit of raw umber. A good start to my sort of darker egg colour.
You're going to continue on with a bit more of the palette stuff, because I probably should have switched to that.
That's all right. Now I'm kind of done with that now. Right.
The intention was there.
Try this brush. Yeah, at least you're trying. There's something. Should I have more than one brush going? I think I should actually. There's a second one. This will have some of the blue on it. So while that goes in here, probably too blue, but or a bit of that brown. Yeah, I like it. Sort of piecing together these ideas of where these shapes go. Face. Lining this up. The third brush actually. The light colour. Let's do all these at once. Good there. The egg at the front is considerably bigger. I like the fact they're slightly oversized in this painting as well. That's quite enjoyable. And this one, building these shapes on top of each other. About there.
But Susan messages, good evening, a very nice subject to paint. I'm painting mountains as usual. My son lives near Yosemite in California. So the mountains it's the mountains that I have to paint.
I'm really tempted to lay into you here, Graham. It's called Yosemite.
Yosemite, whatever. You carry on.
Oh no, now I feel bad.
Oh, it's all right.
Which hardly ever happens.
Yeah, why do you feel bad? That's not nearly as bad as normal.
That's a good point. It's gone. So I'm fine now. False alarm. Yes, that's Sue Tressida.
Yep.
Yeah. Been to America and it was an interesting place to visit, but for one, I would really love to go to Yosemite because it's I think mostly I think it's where Yogi Bear lived. But yeah, no, it's an extraordinary place. But there's a
extraordinary. Love it.
This is just, it's got into my head now. It's going to keep happening.
Beautiful to paint though.
What, Yosemite National Park or?
Yeah, the mountains, isn't it?
Yes, yes. No, there's a photographer who was sort of one of the became a sort of one of the artistic voices of America, really. And I can't remember his name, but
We might have to play with the camera
probably
again.
only a Google away. But yeah, I know with this one, I'm not just going to summarily remember it, but I remember the pictures, and he did the most extraordinary pictures of these amazing photos of
You're going to need to play with the camera because it's just frozen.
Is it? Oh. What's going on with you, eh? Siri, change to continuity camera. Let's find out.
Sorry, do that. By the way, if you have a request, you don't need to say Siri before you ask it.
Well, that's magic, isn't it? Thanks, AI.
Okay.
I taught the Siri thing to call me puny human, which I thought was very funny, and now it's less funny.
It might be the case that we need to start the OBS again.
Okay.
I just leave everything and I can do it from here.
It did this last time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Hang on. Rather than switch it off and on again. Right, with the just try switching the phone off and on. Close everything. No, it's not doing it. Okay. I don't think it's going to wake up when I switch this back on. It will switch back on. Sorry about that, everyone. Right. You want to have another little look? Change that camera to a different camera and then back again. No, that's the scenes. You need to go to the sources, inputs.
Oh, like restart it kind of thing.
Yeah, so. Here, let's have a look at this. Oh, joy. There you go. Yeah. Not having it, is it?
Nope.
Trying to restart OBS. Although, to be fair, YouTube did keep it as one thing.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I believe so.
So quit OBS and start again.
Yeah. Is it still working?
Yeah, and we're back.
Hey.
Sorry about that.
Bit bigger.
This week I'll have a look into why that happened. We do need to do an update of OBS.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. Right, where was I? Oh yeah. I've got the last of this light color. I haven't put any red in for them. A bit. Measuring, I don't always measure. I probably should. be okay for it one. Okay, where am I going with this? Okay, I've got my egg colours. I'm going to make a darker, redder version now. I'm just doing it with a brush mix to begin with. Set my stall too early. I'm going to make this colour and see where it goes. I think there's to be dark in there. Yeah, that's going to be a bit of that shape in there. Well, very good to know who's still painting. One of those people that truly understands the value of making pictures for its own sake and you know, finding the joy in it, and yeah, example to us all. With attitude like that. I find myself getting frustrated from time to time. Really good to have a reminder how lucky I am to be able to sit down and do something sensible for fun. I say it's for fun. I mean, obviously, sometimes it's not that much fun, but there's a satisfaction in sort of breaking through those barriers of frustration that inevitably turn up. I don't want to do too much with outlines at this point. I'm fairly pained with dark red on that. Okay. Now, weirdly, now I've got this red on. Start to put in some darker shadows, dark areas, and it can be pretty vague. I want to do most of this work with careful mixing of colour rather than. So when I go back to the white.
Let me know if you're doing a tint on the palette, and then I'll watch it.
No, so I'm just sort of jotting in some brush mixes just as almost placeholders, and I'll be able to see what those colours look like, and if I need more of it. This isn't too bad. Not going to shout this one. I do need a few other sort of jotting in colours to go in there. And they're going to emerge from the other colours in a way. So there's a bit more of this creamy colour. A little bit of that blue into it. Putting a few of these shapes. That one. This one, go about here. And a little bit underneath. Again. And all this is going to effectively be underpainting. Go all the way to mixing a black just yet. Put a couple of these dark marks in just so we can see roughly where they'd go. Same thing here. Yeah, it's placeholders really. Something around about there. This line needs to come all the way to the edge. I'm going to change things some. Okay, don't want to obsess about this. Just starting to obsess about it.
Would you mind moving one of the paintbrushes out the like sort of further down into your hand because you're going up on the
where we get around
subject part?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Would you mind awfully? Very English.
Would you mind awfully?
It's not too much bother. Of
course, very polite to you. Right. Just mixing up a little bit of background colour now. I want it to be quite golden. And again, I'll mix a slightly one and have a little bit of grey in it. Okay. Just going to use the same brush I was using for the white. This. Going on here. Bit of that. This. Thinners on this just to spread it around a bit because I want this to be a fairly flat ground layer that the other colours can work into on top. That old painting has completely disappeared now. Browny grey one. Okay. At this stage, I can kind of see how much this covers up what's behind, and how much what's underneath shows through. Both in terms of texture and in terms of like strength of colour. Last little this, I've got this stronger red.
Is it just a case of using like more and thicker paint over the top of it?
Yeah, and painting in a way where you can get more paint over the top of it. This is I shouldn't have used the light coloured brush there because now I need it again. Rather than get a new brush, I will keep using the same one. Works pretty well. Bit of light down. Yeah, that's going to move the bottom of the mug down. That'll be okay. Go back to my red now. Down. Bit there. Into where my ellipse is going to go. Okay, I think I've got my design in. Fairly happy with that. I think I will have those red stripes come in as well. Across there, and they'll have a bit of a wobble to them as well, so I'm not going to merge from all the way in. There's 4. That will give it a certain dynamism, which is quite fun. Yeah, that's quite pleasing. But now it's time for some mixing.
Was that palette cam?
Yes.
Would you like palette and subject or palette and canvas?
Palette and subject, I think. Yeah. Now I know quite a few people see this on Facebook. I think we all need to get off Facebook one way or another. Not leading anywhere good. I think we can all agree on that. YouTube has a much more sort of egalitarian thing. You pick what you want to see, and then you find it, and then you go and watch it. So I recommend coming to YouTube, make yourself a little YouTube account, find some things that you like to follow, you know, and support those people with comments and just getting involved rather than waiting for whatever. Poisonous bile Facebook wants to fire at you that's got nothing to do with any of the things you actually choose to include in your life. I think we've all had that experience. Where on earth did this come from? Because it knows how long you pause on something. So something that you find momentarily distracting, however much you not choose to be the person who's distracted by that, nevertheless one is. You know, I will pause on sensationalist politics because it gets your attention. Then I'll go, I don't want to join in with that. It's not helping anything. But by that time I've paused, and then it shows me more. And it's like trying not to stare at a car crash. You know, of course you don't want to stare at the car crash. But there is a part of you that is compelling you to look. And what you should do is resist that. But if you manage to, you know, your head turns slightly as you passed one, and the motorway said, hey, you like car crashes, we're going to show you one every 2 miles. That's kind of what Facebook's doing. And it's, you know, those algorithms they're not healthy.
Do you want to hear some like really
active selection? That's the way forward.
Statistics regarding the social media at the moment.
I love statistics.
Daily, over 350 million Facebook photos are being uploaded. 500 million X posts.
Right.
34 million TikTok videos and 3.7 million YouTube videos are uploaded daily, requiring over 82 years to watch a single day's worth of content that's being uploaded.
There you go.
Fascinating.
It does give a sort of perspective as to the the scale of our human contribution. But you know, so Facebook works really well, I think, with small communities, like limited groups of people who are like, you know, a camera club or a village that has its own sort of Facebook news page and that kind of thing. Because there's some sort of accountability following on from that. Whatever you say on that page, you'd have to be prepared to say, you know, at a town council meeting or to that person, to their face when you saw them in the street. And there's a certain responsibility to that, which I think is healthy. Oh no, that's not cool. So yeah, cultivating these spaces for ourselves is something we have to do. You know, we've sort of for the longest time thought, oh, you know, join in with this social media thing, but it's not my platform and it's not really up to me. Well, it has to be, because otherwise you're going to end up with something poisonous and something the Russians can use to interfere with your elections, and at its worst, you know. So anyway, for that reason, so if you don't like Russian interference in elections, watch this on YouTube. I'm pressing the wrong thing. There it is. Okay, I'm seeing a bit of this mark coming through here. The mug's got too fat, got too wide.
We have Michelle Perkins is just on YouTube saying hello.
Excellent. Well done for being on YouTube, first of all, Michelle. Popping in. Yeah, so I'm about to do some mixing, which is fun. Now I've got some of the pre-existing colours. These are from previous, and I thought I might try and colour match them for this painting, but I don't think I'm going to bother. Make a bit of space. What am I going to need much larger quantities of? I'm going to need much larger quantities of this tea towel colour, which is let's get some more paint out as well. Ooh. Oh yes, we've got the camera on as well, so you can see me clumsily trying to crawl around.
That's right. You're in luck. We aren't on the
oh right, yes.
Cam at the moment.
Okay. Well. Oh, what's this? Is that unbleached titanium? I think I have some unbleached titanium. It's pretty much the colour I need. With this somewhere, so a bit extravagant with it. And a snake rather than a splodge, so I have to be gathered up. Oh, that's pretty much already the colour I've been mixing. I have a little bit of yellow.
How long do oil paints last for in the tube?
It depends on a few things. So potentially forever. There's no oxygen in there for it to react to. It's not going to change. Depending on the amount of exposure it's had to oxygen and yeah, how much there isn't, like the pigment can sometimes have a quality that it can break down. And if the pigment breaks down and what it produces is something that the oil can react to, then it can harden in the tube within a matter of years, maybe decades. If the tube's been opened or mixed around or whatever, and it's been squished about, yeah, that could interfere as well. But yeah, I've got tubes from probably the 30s. I've probably got some 100-year-old tubes in the drawer. Yeah, not many, like a couple, and they're, I'm not sure I'd ever use them. But I can't throw away good paint, but the tubes are still squishy. And some things are really good. So yellows, it's really good to get old yellows, because whatever color it is, it's kind of staying that color. Had 100 years to do its thing, sort of fall apart, as it were. And so cadmium yellow that's gone a bit brown, of course it'll keep going more brown, but a lot of the time that's sort of what you don't want, is to put on a really bright color and then find out later on that it's it loses its luminosity in about 5 years. So if it's already lost that, you can work within that. It's not gonna, never happens the other way. You don't get, there's no colors that get gradually brighter when you leave them.
Not even uranium green.
Yeah, I don't think they ever made that. Well, they made uranium glass, of course. So I'm sure someone tried it. They used to make radium face cream and stuff like that. Unfortunate. That's a fascinating thing, actually, that time in history, beginnings of the atomic age, and this assumption that it was natural, so it must be good. Right, I'm a bit stuck with this. There's no feedback thing going on with this color mixing, so I kind of would need to start putting some on, but there's a decent quantity there that I can change it around. I'm going to go across to my yellow now and mix quite a lot more of that. I'm going to want this orange. Oh yeah, this is all quite nice and subtle. I'm going to put that there. Leave a little bit. We've got something that vaguely approaches going on here. A bit more mixing white in there. The rest of that yellow, I reckon. There we are. That's a nice sort of creamy yellow background colour, from which I can make the more shadowy greyish colour, for which I used that. That was made from the blue and a bit of green and red. Let's make some proper black. This is Viridian. Those are in crimson.
Proper black.
And this is, because it's two transparent colours, it's super deep. Like looking down a well at night black, rather than blackboard black, if you like. Oh, tipped over into the red there. It mixes in. Yeah, slightly on the purple side, but that's okay. I'm all right with that. Pop that here. And some of that or mixing white, or another lump of blue. There's the deeper blue I think I was trying to mix earlier. Going to contribute to the shadows. Grayer than that. A bit more. Grayer one. A bit closer to what I had before here. A bit more red in it. Last little bit of raw umber. There we go. Just put that back here. It's a nice shadowy colour. Gather up this blue here. Put that over with that lighter blue I mixed. Now I've got some more mixing space which I can use. That can expand into. What other things am I going to need? I'm going to need some more alizarin crimson. And see the reds I mixed to just block in this mug. Things I'm not happy about with shapes and together make it a bit more blurry. Cool. Been a while since previous spatula madness. Okay, there's so little paint on the surface that I can smear that around a bit. Need to come down a bit more. I think I will. I think exactly artistic license. It's going to change the way that handle goes, so just blur that out so I don't have to think about it. Just move all that. And let's mix some more of this red. After which I think I'll have most of the colours that I need. With that. Or umber. Give it a bit of opacity. Really dark, deep red. Possibly more than I need it to be. Give it a little bit of light this side. Okay, and I'm going to need some more cadmium yellow as well. That Indian yellow, which I was thinking about using. No, there it is. So this color mixing business is it's a big part of painting a picture. It's one of the most fun parts once you get into it. But there's always this feeling, especially if you start painting, of just sort of skipping or going, oh well, I don't really know what color it is, so I guess this is the closest one. I'll pick that, and I'll just, you know, oh, this is sort of yellowy, so I'll get this yellow and put it on and hope it looks right later. Mixing the colors is sort of a vital part of the whole thing, and you start to discover things. So this pinky red, which I mixed almost by accident earlier, is going to be really useful when it comes to lightening up these parts of the eggs where the light hits. And it started with an orange and then with white in it. Now it's an almost unrecognizable color. Now I'm going to mix a bit more orange. It's going to be on the yellow side of things. That's going to allow me to sort of mix a other lighter colours for these reds. The reds are going to be quite important actually. Get this knife cleaned off. Quite know what that colour was or what it was for, but here's a warm dark orange. And go here, and then how far can we go with red? This is having red. It's sort of the most eye-catching red. And there's a few places that are going to have this, but only a few. I'm going to keep a bit as a placeholder, and then say, how much lighter does it go? How much darker does it go? Do a darker. Oh. Let's do a lighter one as well. I'll use orange. Only a bit of white. Look different, not much, a bit. And from these, I can sort of stray out into, you know, one slightly lighter one. And already there's not enough paint there. So let's go again with this. Take that whole chunk of that orange, bit of light in it. Them up. For a little bit of that yellow. Is that halfway through?
Yes.
There you are. I'm kind of ready to do this now because I've got my colours mixed. Anything else I might have forgotten? No, I think I'm sort of all set to carry on now. What I haven't done an awful lot of is colours for the eggs. But that's okay. I think between these, we'll be able to get there. Shall we have a short break? Come back and then I'll start painting these in. And time for the commercial break.
Cool. Yep. So we shall be back in 5 minutes.
Well, five, very shortly. Hey, put the kettle on.
The next one. There we go. And we're back.
Last cup of tea.
Lovely.
Use the noises of touching my microphone. There we are. Standing back and looking at this, I wish I'd done the whole thing about an inch higher. Which, of course, I could still do. That would be mad, wouldn't it, to move it all now? No, I won't do that.
50 minutes.
Well, no, I could. It wouldn't. No, it really wouldn't take long. But actually, I think what I'm thinking is that I just don't need the top bit of the painting. That the format of this painting should probably be 12 by 14 rather than 12 by 16. Maybe 12 by 13. That's a really awkward size. Actually, no, I like the space at the top. I think I can do more with the space at the top.
From what it looks like on the screen for everybody, there is a big amount at the top, so you've matched.
Yeah, no, that's a really bad reason for it to be there.
I was giving you an out.
No, there is no out. Should I do it? Should I move the whole thing up? I think I will. If I work top down, it'll be fine. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm not afraid. I just crack on with it. Good work. Because I can trust the proportions now, the scale. I can work directly from what I can see below it. That's about where a good measurement.
A spatula width.
Yeah. Okay. Dry these brushes off thoroughly. And go in with some of these colours. I wouldn't normally go straight in with something like a black, but if I do it thin, let's move the whole thing up. Okay. Be a bit more careful about my ellipse here. Yeah, so that would be bottom there. About the same. About the same. Do the sides. It's already going to behave itself a bit better. That's at the front. Roughly where mine go. Let's do a few other things. Front there. Okay. Tissue. Start with some of these dark reds. can wipe this back a little. Let's paint off. Yeah, if I really want to keep checking the measurements and stuff. This is the top of there. Is that right? Bounce. Let's get a brush going for those shadows. Hang on. Do that little shadow there. Bit of dark. Bottom of there. See. Here somewhere.
Found some interest in my scarf.
Oh, I dare say it's his scarf now. He's quite intolerant of things that smell different from him. He doesn't like that. Okay. Now, similar thing with the eggs. Now, I don't actually have an egg colour. Going with this. Here, these. Something or other. Like that. Quite in the right places, but yeah, that feels about right. Roughly the right amount of there. So, okay. Let's go to some of these egg colours, shall we? Not off in this corner. Way too red at the moment. A bit more orange. Bit of that shadow to it. Same kind of thing again. Yeah. All completely different, isn't it? It's funny. Yeah, I've run out of raw umber here. bit more doing it as well. Like it. So at the same time as I'm redrawing it, I'm also going to say yeah, I'm able to sort of repeat those original judgments and hopefully improve on them ever so slightly, especially like that negative space there, where that comes down, how it lines up. That shadow space is underneath. Something like that. Do I have a shadow on the other brush? I can't remember. Put it on this one. Yeah. Going with this. Brightest. Doing with that color, but okay. The gap has changed from, maybe I've expanded the whole drawing a little bit, quite possible. Go here. So what was measured as a sort of a sort of roughly the width of this, at the bottom of that shadow came up to here now. Go there, but that's too high up. So I can renegotiate almost this negative space. Where that shadow is going to go. Like that. No, wrong brush. I don't know if this is going to improve it or make it worse, but that's where we go with the shadows. One's going to go about here. So that distance is slightly shrunk by a tiny fractional amount, but nevertheless. Meaning in practical terms, the bigger. That's further down. Yeah, so interesting things are happening in terms of where the redrawing is taking place. Yeah, it's all moved. Quite fun, isn't it? Didn't take long.
No, it's quite interesting how it can take such a short amount of time to actually move everything up slightly.
Already done most of the work. So. We've got this. There, and this bit across, and the light there. I still haven't got into sort of thick paint quite yet. But it's sort of being hinted at some way or other. Yeah, and I will get some darker marks in there. The bluey white. Yeah. Shadow. Revisit back a second. That one. There we are. So that's everything moved. Next. Let them come across. Right in there. Greater down there. At this point, it's kind of interesting because I can I'll come back to the background. Okay. Too many hard lines and things here. Put a few markers in, one which I can read where the handle of the goes. else is that? A little bit here. Back to that later. Quite loose at what happens with these reflection things. There is where it's the red. Here. Interesting. And it gets bluer. Interesting. Yeah. Shadows again. Bit more colour in there. This is all with a mind to paint over it later. Put colour in there. Here as well. Those. This is the last of the sort of thin layers of paint, if you like. The lights that are going to go on top of this are magic. Even darker, bluer here. Doing that. With this. There we go. Bit in there. Too dark. A little bit too. It'll accommodate the next colour. Whatever that may be. So yeah, these little satellite colours are turning up now. Yeah, do for that. I guess it's time for eggs and then tea towel and then a bit of background to tidy it up, and that should do it. So easy.
now that you've got it all moved and in place and everything, that just seems like a really quick kind of like, oh, we'll just do this now.
Yeah. All right. Let's go. So my egg colours, I didn't specifically mix them. But while I've still got this, the red lines will go on off. Be nothing left to be confusing now. And you know what's interesting is while I've got that purpley colour, put that in here. So a bit of yellowness. Not be paler. No, not that pale. Ah, it's paler at the top of the spoon. Or is it? Very hard to see. Actually, that might be about the right colour there. Just needed to smear it out. And then, yeah, deeper grey as it goes in. I'll put some highlights in afterwards. Yeah, it was a purple. What I was looking for. Highlights will come in afterwards. Right. I clean that brush for nothing. Let's go with some of this orange then. White as well. Okay, so that's sort of my core hue for the eggs. The actual colour when it goes on will be a greyer version. A little bit of that grey. A bit more red in it. A bit lighter. A bit yellower. Oh, I can't even tell anymore. No, it's more orange than that. And let's go again. More red. Let's see what this does. I've already got this sort of quite strong orange on the brush, so that's going to go through a little bit.
I reckon the cameras have gone again.
Gone again. Well, you know what to do.
Back in a second, guys.